What up, though, y'all? How y'all living? And here we go with another one. But this time, this person being accused of these accusations is going a lot different than everybody else that was accused. Wonder why is that? But let's check it out.
Former hype man TA is actually insane, you guys. The lawsuit has 157 pages of allegations. In yesterday's video, I covered all the sexual stuff that Fat Joe was accused of, the allegations with the minors, flying out a girl that was 15 and allegedly giving her BBL. If you guys didn't watch that video, please make sure you guys go check it out. Now, since then...
Now, let's be clear. These are some outlandish claims. But in the climate of today, it's not too unbelievable. Look at the other stuff that's been accused.
Fat Joe and his lawyers did respond. According to Fat Joe and his lawyers, this lawsuit is nothing but retaliation, all because Fat Joe actually sued them for defamation a couple months ago. Now, there was...
So that would make this a countersuit, not retaliation. And that's kind of funny with this because some of these claims... Not all of them, but some of them were alleged by other people. You know what I'm saying? And that was shut down pretty fastly. And when you get off into this, you'll see some of these things you might have even heard Joe make reference to himself. Not everything, but some of these things.
Also, some wild allegations made against Fat Joe in this lawsuit, including plans to actually kill 50 Cent and also DMX. Terrence Dixon actually claimed that there was a 50 Cent assassination plot. The key participants was going to be Fat Joe, unnamed enforcers, associates, and assassins. The location is listed as Miami, Florida, and also New York City. In the wintertime, approximately in 06 and 07, it claimed that Fat Joe engaged in a calculated...
Make you wonder, say, what was the problem with DMX, though? But let's continue.
And premeditated conspiracy to kill 50 Cent. Fat Joe was living in Miami when he got a call reporting 50 Cent's presence at a New York venue. The lawsuit claims that Fat Joe actually ordered the hit, but 50 Cent was surrounded by Navy SEAL type security, and the assassins were actually afraid to try to kill him. It also claims that Fat Joe admitted to placing a bag on 50 Cent's head. Now, because 50 Cent and Fat Joe have actually squashed their lifelong beef, 50 Cent is not going. He's choosing to publicly
But the funny thing about the 50 Cent situation is Joe made reference to that. And he was saying he couldn't really mess with 50 because he had the Navy SEAL security into this and that. Now, let's be clear. This is a little bit different than the Diddy lawsuit. Because if they could prove that an overt act was committed after that threat, which would be, telling somebody else where 50 Cent was, making a phone call to people, anything like that, then they could prove or charge with a murder conspiracy. And then what's also makes this different than the Diddy case is they're talking about going to other countries for some of these activities. And just how you treated TA per se, where he's alleging, that kind of constitutes sex trafficking. Because you got this guy flying around with you who's not your boyfriend for the purposes of having sex. And he's supposed to be an artist, but he puts out no music. These are questionable things here.
Look, that's cat.
That's a cat.
And Fat Joe from any accusations of claims that Fat Joe was trying to kill him. 50 Cent went on Instagram to address the accusations. He said these baseless accusations and claims are not credible. I'm sorry Joe has to endure the public scrutiny and damage to his reputation.
Now see, this right here is super fake. This is super fake. Now go ahead. I heard 50 talk about how Diddy was the only person doing business with him after he got shot. But you ain't stand up for Puff like that. That's kind of crazy. But you defending Joe. And this is something that bothers me about us as black people. I've seen nobody defend or stand up for none of these black people, no matter who they helped or who life they changed or who they saved. But somebody that's non-black, everybody immediately stands up to to defend them, give them the benefit of the doubt. The same people throwing Tyler Perry under the bus, the same people accusing Jay-Z of some things he ain't been charged with, is the same people jumping out the window to defend Fat Joe. Why is that?
this is a stick-up. Now, we know 50 Cent loves to troll, he likes to be petty, but I actually feel like he's being genuine and sincere. Him and Fat Joe are super cool these days, and I'm sure he would not want to see Fat Joe in any legal trouble. And I'm sure before they got cool, Fat Joe probably told 50 all the wild stuff he was planning to do to him. So seeing these accusations of Fat Joe trying to kill him probably does not surprise him. Even Joe Budden also
But see, what's crazy about that is I was just watching an interview with Fat Joe when he was talking about putting all the way up out and how people came back around to, to celebrate we did it again and all of this mumbo jumbo. And Fat Joe made it a point to say, well, I never want to see none of these so-and-sos again. I like to hope one of them so-and-sos that you never want to see again is not connected to any of these things being alleged. Because that's crazy.
thinks this is all a shakedown for money. After Fat Joe clowned him last month over the Joe Budden seats, Joe had every right to go on the podcast and kick Fat Joe's back in. But knowing how serious these allegations are, Joe Budden does not believe these accusations against Fat Joe.
Oh, again.
This was real pussy. Fat Joe takes shots at Joe Budden whenever he wants to. He just took major shots at Joe Budden. Slightly disrespectful. That was disrespectful shots at anybody who could afford to go to a basketball game but didn't order the tickets in enough time to get the front row seat. Like, this is a problem. And Joe Budden is the same dude that he didn't win in on Diddy. He didn't win in on Bill Cosby. He didn't win in on Tyler Perry. They read the whole Tyler Perry text messages. Didn't give him no grace. But you got to wait and see about what's going on with this guy. And to me, that's a problem. Why are we so gung-ho on destroying each other, but we got so much compassion, so much consideration for everybody else that don't care about us? Makes no sense to me.
I don't know who's right or wrong, I don't know the details, but this is bigger than I think people thought initially, because it's not just that he's saying Fat Joe did something. We start getting the Civil RICO. The other thing that Civil RICO can do is, as we learned with Diddy and Cassie, it can spark a criminal investigation.
Yes.
So this could get huge.
But when y'all sit there with them, when it's black people in the same situation, y'all report on it. Y'all promote it. Y'all take it to y'all Patreon. Y'all don't defend it. Y'all say, hey, well, we gotta this, that, or whatever. But this Fat Joe thing, y'all automatically, everybody's wrong, huh? Everybody's lying. Now, make no mistake about it. For this guy, TA, to sit around and go through with all of this while it's going on, I mean, I ain't got no love for him for that. To me, that's real weak behavior. But at the same time, I don't know what type of situation he was under. I know what I'm going to do in these type of situations and circumstances. I know what I would do if I was employed by somebody and they left me stranded in another country because I ain't want to do a triz with them. And then, like, I would... Yo, I messed with Cuban Link, right? And long time ago, he told a story about when he and some of the other guys would get girls, then Fat Joe would bust in their room trying to see if the girl wanted to do, a train. And all in their old music, they talked about a triz and a this and a that. And Cuban Link, many years ago, already explained how Joe used to get down on that tip. So you on the road with your homies, y'all got the adjoining room, no big deal. Until y'all all bring girls back, and the one that didn't get a girl is popping in your room trying to get with one of the girls you got. This is a slippery slope.
I don't know if this was given what Homeboy thought it was given out. Like, because you basically admitting that you knew, if this is true, that you knew that there was sexual activity happening with underage people, and you stood by idly and did absolutely
for 16 years.
But I think his message. You say he was afraid?
Yes. Yeah,
he was afraid.
I think that's what he's saying.
Well, I mean, it's a little deeper than he was afraid, because you ain't just got people getting mad and saying I'll do this and that to you. You got third parties putting actual threats to this guy. Then they take the second overt act to actually meet up with this guy or to find mutual acquaintances with this guy to make a meetup so you can administer act right. Now that much is provable. That much has been talked about on the internet. And Fat Joe got this thing he does where he talks specifically about and directly to people who he's trying to slight, but he won't say their name. And some of these accusations, because it only take a good internet sleuth, are going to be able to be proven with his own responses. At least the part about him threatening people. At least the part about people being scared to say or do or go against him. That's a closed, open and shut case already. Shit. Let Fat Joe tell it, Suge Knight. He was the only person Suge Knight ain't trying and run over. The only person Suge Knight respected. Only person, the Haitians and everybody else. And I'm just wondering what kind of power. Like, I know it's a heavy Puerto Rican population in New York, but Fat Joe is Cuban B. He's Cuban B. And y'all do a whole lot of running, shaking, scared over Fat Joe. It's a whole lot of Cuban, a whole lot of Puerto Rican people that does a lot for their community, and others that has this same reverence. Hell, there's a lot of black people that do a lot for their community, and you don't see black people falling over themselves to defend them. I'm appalled.
If that's the case, it'd be more complicit.
What do you mean?
I mean, he played a role to cover the abuse away. You didn't see any issue with it at the time. If that is the case.
Well, if you was afraid.
But that's what he's saying, is that he was coerced into
You'll get immunity for your testimony. And
them niggas, excuse me, they just use that as an angle. Them niggas don't be afraid. Them niggas be willing participants.
Allegedly.
I'm not saying him. I'm
you
talking about
sued for that. Right.
Okay, I'm so glad he said that, because I kind of agree with Queen's Flip about people not being afraid and willing participants, and that would mean that something is clearly going on. Facts. We out of here, man. This is a sad day, a sad occasion, and I was waiting to see how some of these black YouTubers was gonna act when somebody else got accused, and I see why. It's like we only willing to burn each other. Well, in Juan-o's world, right is right and wrong is wrong. And that's just the end of that story.